Hello and welcome to a new season, a new series on Voices of the Vic with me, Mike Duffy, and my trusty co-host Ben Aiton, as always. It's a new season in terms of the championship season is starting next month, and it's a new season in terms of a new season for Voices of the Vic. So whether you've come over from our first series or whether you're just starting new, listening to us on Series 2, we really, really do appreciate it, and we hope you enjoy what we've got in store for you today. As I said just a minute ago, obviously, I'm with my trusty co-host, Ben Aiton. Ben, how are you doing?
Good morning, mate. Yeah, I'm good. You got me up early today, 8 o'clock, doing this podcast on a Saturday morning. This is
And you
unheard
were
of. Yeah, as per.
Yeah.
But yeah, all good, mate. Kind of needed us a couple of weeks off from football. It was an emotional end to the season, very draining. So yeah, kind of glad I've had that couple of weeks off, as everyone probably feeling is now. But yeah, looking forward to the start of the season now and getting back into these podcasts weekly and yeah, talking everything Watford with you, mate.
Yeah, and they're going to be more regular this season because obviously there's more midweek fixtures in the Championship. So than there is in the Premier League, so you'll be hearing our voices a lot more. So,
they are so excited.
Yeah, they are so lucky. Everyone's just switched off at this point. So, yeah. But I'll tell you where we'll start. We'll start with the news of the new manager. Obviously, it's not officially been announced. We're recording this on Saturday morning. I think it's the 15th of August today, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah.
Adam Leventhal put a tweet out yesterday, so Friday the 14th, saying that Vladimir Ivic, I had various discussions with Ben before we actually started recording to make sure I pronounced his name correctly, so hopefully I've got it spot on. But Vladimir Ivic is going to be the new Watford head coach, and it's to be announced on Monday, I think he said, didn't he, Ben?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
And pre-season starts over Monday as well.
Yeah, that's right. He's flying over this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, I've also heard that Watford use Sopwell House Hotel in St Albans for pretty much all their main people that they get over who's new to a club. And I heard yesterday from a reliable source, someone I work with,
his friends, cats, neighbours, dogs, mates, husband.
Yeah, no, someone I work with, his missus works at the hotel, and he said to me yesterday, he came up to me and was like, Ben, I think I know who the new Watford manager is going to be. And I was like, is it Vladimir Ivic? He was like, yeah, how do you know? I was like, it was reported Thursday, mate. He was like, oh, okay. I was like, how do you know? And he said, oh, my missus works at booked a room for him for the next couple of months, because what Watford do is when they announce new managers, or like they've done with the new technical director that's came over from Indonesia, they settle them in for a couple of months at the hotel until they find their feet and find their own place to live, pretty much. But yeah, that was more encouraging for us to hear that a hotel room's been booked for him as well. So we was like, right, yeah, Leventhal said it Thursday. We've heard this information now. So, yeah, let's go with the podcast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And for those non-Watford fans that might be listening, the other reason that we book them into hotels is so after 2 months when they've done rubbish and we can sack them, we just bring another manager in and keep adding them to the hotels. So, yeah, that's for any non-Watford fans that are listening.
I've already seen reports that we've sacked
him.
Yeah.
Well, he's 2 months. I believe he's signing a 2-month deal. But,
rolling contract.
Yeah. Now, in all seriousness, he's signing on Monday a 2-year deal, I'm led to believe. And we've sort of done our homework a little bit on him. We'll give you the basics. He's a Serbian, 43 years of age, I should say. And he's come from Maccabi Tel Aviv, where he won the title. I believe, was it back-to-back he won the title?
Yeah, he's only been there for 2 years, but before he arrived, they didn't win the title the year before, and he's won back-to-back titles of them.
Yeah, and before that, he was at was it Panathinaikos or Olympiacos? I always get them two mixed
up. I don't know. PAC or something it's called, I think.
Yes.
Not sure if that's Panathinaikos or not.
Yeah, I don't know if it's short for something.
He actually won the Greek League Cup over there for them, and actually finished second in his first season. So very encouraging.
Yes, absolutely. He's some of the stuff that we've sort of reeled off already, and we haven't even really got into it. It's looking promising. He very much by the sounds of the style of play that he has, and he's sort of hard hitting with the players. Sounds very, very good and very what we need, what Watford needs. You've very helpfully found me some stats, which I believe we've got off Twitter. We must credit the man. What's the name of the account, Ben? Just so he's not listening and thinks, hold on a minute, they're my stats. Is it Watford Analytics?
Isn't it Yes, it is, and he was actually on from the Rookery end yesterday talking to him. They got in there before us. So he was going to ask him if he wanted to get involved with us.
But Watford Analytics, if you're listening,
damn you from the Rookery end.
If you're listening, thanks very much for these stats. We'll give you a shout out in the link to the podcast. But yeah, so obviously I want to start off his defence. Last season, Maccabi Tel Aviv only conceded 10 goals. What was our biggest problem last season? Defence.
Well, we pretty much conceded that amount in one game to City at the Etihad, didn't we? Also, following up from what you just said, I've seen a stat this morning which is quite interesting as well. Last season, they had 29 clean sheets in 36 games.
Wow. We must say, obviously, this is no disrespect to the league over there. It's obviously not the same standards as the Championship and the Premier League. However, you can only do what's in front of you. And if he's capable of doing that, and obviously he's won the cup at PAOK before, then, it's something he's doing is making this happen, no matter what league he's in. So obviously a defence was a big issue, as Ben rightly pointed out. They conceded 10 goals last season. We were 2 off conceding that in one game. So, that screams volume straight away. The defence is solid. We've got here that, his teams would be 2-3-0 up, and then he'd sort of shut up shop to make sure that he keeps a clean sheet. Now, reading that firsthand, you might think, well, that sounds a bit negative. If you're 2-3-0 up, you might want to play loosen the shackles sort of thing, and then you sort of that freedom. But it sounds a bit negative to be 2-3-0 up and then I don't know whether he just sits back or whatever. But I think that's what we need, Ben. It sort of reminds me of the time when Sonino come in. He was sort of brought in to sort of structure the defence, and he did a fantastic job. But this guy has got it in his locker straight away by the sounds of it.
Yeah, definitely. He seems like he's got a massive winning mentality, and he just wants to win. He doesn't want to concede silly goals late on. Like, look at the season when we was in the Prem. I think we went 3-0 up against Cardiff at home, and then we ended up losing, conceding loads of sloppy goals, didn't we, towards the end? And then it was like nail biting stuff at the end. I don't think we would have this with Ivic. He's very defensively sound. I think that's going to be the first thing we're going to notice when he comes in. He's going to sort that defence out and get everyone playing the right way. I don't think we're going to be conceding too many sloppy goals next season.
No, let's hope not. And talking of defence, we'll slot this in whilst we've got a chance. Yesterday, we announced our first signing, Jeremy Ngakia from West Ham, the young fullback, 19 years of age. He plays on the right-hand side, so he'll be up against Kiko, providing he stays, and Daryl Yanmat. I think he'll be starting, Ngakia. He made his debut for West Ham against Liverpool. But do you think... Sounds like you don't quite agree there, Ben. Do you not see him starting straight away, or...?
It all depends, really. With him signing, we've got 3 really good right backs at the club. Yanmat on his day, when he's fully fit, is brilliant. He's outstanding. Kiko, he has spells of playing well. Is he going to get ahead of him? Not totally sure at the moment. What we've seen with Ivic as well, though, he does like to coach for young players and develop for young players. Yeah. So he's going to probably be encouraging Ngakia to get into this side and start performing each week. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. But I imagine that Kiko's going to end up going back to Spain at some point, possibly if it's this season or not. Yeah. If Yanmat does struggle with injuries, then yes, he's going to start. But I think it'd probably be a toss-up between Nketiah and Janmaat for a starting spot this season.
Yeah, and I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but I definitely would not turn my nose up at Daryl Janmaat playing in the Championship. I think he's a very, I don't want to say underrated because injuries get in the way and they've hampered him a lot, but I think in the Championship he would be sort of a class above the rest sort of thing. So it will be interesting to see that battle, and it will be good to have that battle as well.
Yeah, it's good to have some depth at that position as well. It's a very good signing from Watford, though. It's a very positive signing, isn't it? It's a young guy. They've managed to pick him up for free. Well, there might be like a compensation fee that you got to pay because he's under a certain age. But yeah, he's technically sound, and he's. I think Ivic also likes to utilise the wide areas from the fullback. So this is where we're probably going to see the most of Nketiah bursting forward. He said on the Watford website yesterday that he's got a bit of pace and trickery. I think I've put some videos up on our Twitter page in the last week or so, showing some of his highlights at West Ham, and that's exactly what it is. It's a bit of pace. He's a solid defender. He throws in a bit of trickery. He's very promising, and it's a great signing for Watford. Very versatile as well. He can transition between defence and midfield very smoothly. He played 5 matches at West Ham last season, hit the ground running. He was man of the match when he played away at Liverpool. Even Jurgen Klopp was potentially looking at him as well after that performance. So it says that we've probably got a gem on our hands there.
Yeah. Let's hope so. And as you mentioned now, he's young. He's 19, and you also mentioned that Ivic likes to coach the young players and sort of implement them into the squad. And I think that was a big selling point for Mr. Pozzo. He said all along he wanted a manager that was going to implement the youth. You look at some of the youth. We won't fully go into it today because that's not what the podcast's about. But you look at some of the youth we've got coming through. To name a few, Quinner, Wilmot, who we'll be speaking about later, who said some very exciting and very good things if you're a Watford fan. And we've also got like Tom Deli-Bashiru. We've got some good young players that are, potentially going to be coming through. So I'm really looking forward to that, because if Ivic does continue to do what he has done all his managerial career, then I think we'll be seeing a lot more of those players this season. But
also with Ivic as well, I think he's more like performances rather than reputations as well. Whereas we've seen a lot of Deadwood stay in the Watford side. I don't think he's going to have any of that. He won't hesitate to drop the senior stars in the side, and that would probably mean developing the fringe and younger players, and they'll end up being considered as his strengths, I reckon.
Yeah. In terms of formation, we know that Ivic likes to play a 4-3-3. Plays narrow wingers, and the wingers tend to play as inside strikers as well. That's the information that we've got. 4-3-3. You just thinking of who could be playing where is exciting me already, and I've still got to wait another month for the season to start. So that's attacking football. Like, that is what we've been wanting all along. Like, that second half against Arsenal, that was the most threatening I've seen us, I'd say, since maybe even the Norwich win, and even that wasn't the most convincing win. And the Newcastle win was 2 penalties, so I can't really say that we were very, very attacking in that game. But that is what you want to hear. A young Watford side attacking 4-3-3, defensive solid. Everything sounds rosy at the moment, doesn't it, Ben?
Yeah, no, definitely. I was just taking myself back to Thursday night when we heard about. Or was it Wednesday night we heard about Ivic was getting appointed? Mm-hmm. We've been on Twitter since relegation. We got relegated at the Emirates, and it's been a very negative and horrible place to be. But Twitter that night was absolutely buzzing, and it's amazing what a good appointment does. And with Nketiah coming in as well, it's been a good couple of days for Watford.
Absolutely, like you've hit the nail on the head there, Ben. You said it at the top of the show when we opened the show that. We needed a couple of weeks off, and I think a lot of Watford fans, right? We obviously have regular conversations with other Watford fan pages. To name someone, James from the Watford Way, I know he had a couple of weeks off. He won't mind me saying, you need that couple of weeks off after a relegation. It's been a while since we've been relegated as a club. We've been in the Premier League for 5 years. That one really hurt. And as you've said, when this news was, announced about Ivic, when Leventhal broke the news, Twitter was like, this is what it's like. And it sort of made me think back to the promotion season, that sort of buzz, that sort of feel about it. So, yeah, it's really, really exciting times. And I can't wait, even though we know he's going to be announced, I just can't wait for that official announcement on Monday morning. Like, it's not that I don't believe in Leventhal, but that will do it for me. And I'll be proper buzzing for the season then.
Yeah, definitely. I've got the excitement in my belly, and I can't wait for it. I just want to see him hold up the Watford shirt or Watford scarf. I don't know if anyone's seen pictures of Ivic as well, but you don't want to get on the wrong side of him.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be similar to Hollobass. I don't think we're going to see him smile much, but if he gets us winning on the pitch, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him on holiday. Looked, and he wasn't even smiling then. So
when he was on his dinghy in the pool?
I've not seen that one. Well, what we should do to unveil it is, because he's Serbian, is get him sat down on a chair with a cup of tea, because I'm sure Jokanovic had that pose when we got promoted. So
yes, I think so. Yeah. So
also,
I've got a couple. Yeah, I've got a couple more stats as we're talking about Serbians. Watford have a 100% promotion record with Serbian managers.
I like it, Ben. I like it.
Yeah,
what else
that's a good one, isn't it?
What else you got for me? We love stats on this show. There we go. I've said it.
Ivic has got a 62% win record in his career so far.
I was worried where you were going with that then. 62%. 62%.
It's a family show, mate.
Yeah,
it's a family show.
It is. A 62%. No, that is very, very good. What else you got for me, bro?
That's it. You've completely thrown me.
Yeah, thrown him under the bus there. Thought he had loads. He said at the start, he goes, Mike, when you finish talking about Ivic, he says, I got a couple. Let me bring them in. And he brings up two. Brilliant. Thanks for that, Ben. No, I'm joking. But I think that's as much as we can say on Ivic at the moment, because, knowing our luck, we'd say all this, and then Leventhal would, say, oh, got this one wrong. Sorry, guys. Looks like
also, I've seen a few people saying about Ivic, he's not got any championship experience. I don't really think that matters too much.
I'm glad you brought this up, actually, Bev.
If you look at the last few seasons, I don't really think championship experience is necessarily what you need to get promoted to a Prem. You got Bielsa, he didn't have it. Slaven Bilic, yes, he managed in the Premier League, but he never did it in the Championship. Just got West Brom up. Scott Parker's done it just recently. Daniel Farke at Norwich, Nuno at Wolves, Rafael Benitez at Newcastle, and David Wagner as well. So that's 7 out of the last 12 managers who achieved promotions to a Premier League didn't have Championship experience.
There you
go. There's a stat.
Amazing stat that is, Ben. You've just pulled it back, mate. I think we might end the show there, mate. That's brilliant.
All right.
See ya. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you made that point. We put a regular posts out on our Instagram, and we asked for Watford fans' thoughts of the appointments. And there was one gentleman who, I believe his name was Jim, if memory serves me correctly. Jim Striker, 1977. I don't know if you listen, but if you are listening, Mr. Striker, completely entitled to your opinion. Jim said, inexperience at the Championship level, this is going to be a very difficult season. Hopefully he can start bringing in some defenders and strikers and get rid of big-time Charlies and Deadwoods. Now, I get his point there, and he does make a good point about getting rid of Deadwood and whatnot, but you've just named quite a few managers, 7 managers that have done it without championship experience, prior championship experience. One that you didn't mention was Slavisa Jokanovic, who obviously got us promoted to the Premier League. He didn't have championship experience. I did go back to Jim and say that, but he said that we had a championship side back then, as opposed to now where we've got a soft Premier League side. Not sure what he meant by that, but I just think that the argument of he's got no experience in the Championship is an invalid one, and that might come back to bite me on the arse. But
also saying about the Championship side, I don't really get that really. No. The sides have gone down from Premier League, gone back up. Newcastle with Benitez, Norwich as well. There's a few there. Fulham, they've
West
just
Brom.
done it, haven't they? West Brom. So yeah, teams do bounce back up as well.
Aston Villa. Yeah, so I'm backing up what you've just said. So yeah, that sort of argument, I'm not really feeling, to be honest. And look, he's entitled to his opinion, but I just think that it's not imperative that they must have championship experience, because as we've just seen, it's very much the not the case. But yeah, I think that's as much as we can say now until Monday, when hopefully he's announced with that Watford shirt and his cup of tea, sitting down with a massive smile on his face. Chance to be a fine thing. But yeah, no, really excited to see what's going to happen in terms of his management style and his no-nonsense style. You know, no players can be throwing their toys out the pram as we saw last season. You know, it's going to be interesting to see who comes in and who goes out. So next, I think we will talk about the beautiful, beautiful kit. I'm a massive, massive fan. Ben, are you feeling the same vibes, or has it got to grow on you first?
You know me, it always takes me a while to grow to shirts, but actually it took about 2 hours for me to grow to this shirt. It looks amazing, doesn't it? I absolutely just love it, mate. The new kit always takes me a while to warm to, like I've said, but it's just nice to see that we're not using like one of those templates that Adidas use. It's very different. It's very out there. I've seen a few people saying it's the kit of the season already. Yes. I just think it's fantastic, mate. Beautiful.
Well, as you've just said, you know, and firstly, before I go on to what I'm about to say, I just want to say what a touch by the club. Like, I'm sick to death of this club getting slated for sacking managers and people saying they deserve to go down, they're a rotten club from the inside, when clearly they know naff all. You know, throughout coronavirus pandemic, we've helped the NHS, we've given them the stadium. I believe they've put up rooms in the apartments in the stadium as well. They've used meeting rooms for all sorts of stuff, helped the NHS and whatnot. And then to include them in the kit launch, I thought that was a touch of class. But that stuff to non-Watford fans goes unnoticed.
Yeah, they don't look at that. They just see how many managers we're sat. But yeah, we're a fantastic football club, and we're at the heart of the community. And for us to reveal the shirt with 3 NHS workers was fantastic. Also, what I've seen is Watford have actually sent out the new home kits to all the NHS volunteers that helped out during the pandemic as well, and that's a brilliant touch. So hats off to Watford.
Absolutely, hats off Watford. And yeah, it's a shame that sort of stuff goes unnoticed in the media, and they focus mainly on who's managing Watford next and how long the next manager's got.
Yeah,
which is really, really annoying. But yeah, go on. Yeah.
Did you look at the photos of when the kits was announced? Though, did you see Troy Deeney? He looks like he didn't want to be there. He didn't look happy.
Yeah, but I think Troy's sort of got that persona about him anyway. You know,
that's his pose, isn't it?
That is his pose. Yeah, that's very much a Troy Deeney-esque pose. It's a bit like my pictures if you got me on Instagram.
I don't do that.
No, not anymore. You've grown up a little bit since then, man. But no, you said there it's not templated. That was the thing that used to pee me off so bad, right? We got with Adidas, and when it was announced, I thought, wow, little old Watford having their kit supplied by Adidas. Like, this is great. The goalkeeper kit, Wolves had it. Our away kit was Cardiff's home kit with the Watford badge on it. Like, it's just, and it's. I think it's just laziness and very poor from the big manufacturers. Like the fact that we've got Adidas, but then they're using the same template. I get that's what they have to do and whatnot. They might not have the time to uniquely design a kit for every single team they've got. But I think it's just laziness. Like you're seeing the same kits in the same league. Like Wolves' goalkeeper kit was the same style as our goalkeeper kit. So it's nice to go with a manufacturer that's different. I believe they mainly deal with Spanish clubs, but that template is very, very unique. And the goalkeeper kit as well, I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a minute, but the goalkeeper kit as well, the way that badge blends into it, that goalkeeper kit is absolutely gorgeous.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I think that's beautiful. That's one of the nicest goalie kits we've had for a very long time.
Do you know what it is though, Ben? It's simple and it's like it's plain and simple. There's nothing too gimmicky about it. Like, I loved last season's goalkeeper kit, but it's just a shame that every other Adidas manufactured kit had the same. But I think this one is just so nice.
Do you know what it is as well? It's because Ben Foster's wearing it. Like,
absolutely, mate.
Yeah,
he's wearing it. We know Ben Foster's going to be wearing that this season in the Championship. He's going to tear it up, mate.
It looks better that Ben Foster's wearing it and not Rene Gilmartin. Let's just say that.
Rene Gilmartin was class, mate. Don't know what you're on about.
He was a good comedian behind the scenes. That's about it.
He was a good co-commentator with John Marks.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no. And then, stupidly, even though there was a banner on the side that said home kit, goalkeeper kit, and then that blue one I thought was the away kit. So I plastered it all over social media saying, oh my God, this away kit is fantastic. And the amount of messages that I had flooding through, that's not the away kit. I was like, isn't it? He said on the side, training wear.
I saw someone yesterday, I think they posted on the Enjoy the Rooms game. I'm not going to mention names or anything, but it looks like they've bought it and they've put their name on the back of the shirt.
No, they haven't. The training kit.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I think that's pretty bad from the club as well.
I've seen a few people say, you do know that's the away kit, and he's not replied.
Oh, no, that is horrendous.
Schoolboy error.
That's up there with the hog incident that we've spoken about previously.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But no, the training wear is beautiful, I think. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. There's rumours that we're due to get a third kit as well this season. I'm not sure how true that is.
They're just trying to get as much money as possible, aren't they?
Mate, 55 quid, you know, I love you, Watford and whatnot, but these kits are getting dearer each year, man.
I know. I ordered mine yesterday and I had to look at the bank statement afterwards and I was like, also the £4 delivery charge as well. I was like, I only live like 5 miles away. I should have gone to the ground to pick it up.
Mate, you should have gone into Watford. Serves you right for your laziness, mate, that is. But, yeah, no.
I'll make Chris Pearson. He refused it. He said, "No, I'm not paying £4." He said he's going to the store to pick it up this weekend. So
he's got the right idea. Well done, Chris. The away kit. There's no news on when that's to be announced as of yet. I don't think. And I've seen a few rumours saying that it might be black, or the third kit might be black. I'm not sure.
I've heard black or white. So I imagine one's going to be black. Yeah,
I'd prefer black because it's more slimming. You know, I don't have the most athletic body, but I'm not going to be playing for Watford this season, so I suppose it doesn't really matter. But when we had that white kit under Mazzari, it's absolutely massive on me now, but it's still not the most flattering. So yeah, if any people at Kelme are listening, hola, and please make sure. That it's black because it's more slimmy. So yeah,
gracias.
Yeah, gracias. But I think that's the kit wrapped up.
That's all the Spanish I know.
Yeah, no, that's I do know a fair bit more Spanish, but we won't go into it. But and plus I'm not ordering a beer, so that doesn't help. So in terms of kit, a man who was seen modelling it, you've said Troy Deeney was modelling it, Adam Messina was modelling it, and Ismail Assar was modelling it then. And he said some very interesting stuff this week, hasn't
he? Yeah, he has. He came out with a statement. It says, I still have years on my contract with Watford, another 4 years. If Watford want me to stay, I'll play in the Championship. My departure also depends on Watford. This is what is the most normal for me. What a player and what a professional, really. What a remarkable young man to come out and say things like that. Also, to say that his agents around him as well. Agents get a lot of bad stick in the world of football at the moment, like trying to get moves and that. But they've really educated him here and put an arm around him, saying, "No, you don't need to push for a move. If a big team comes in and gives you the cash, then Watford will accept it." But he's not pushing for a move at all here, is he?
No, absolutely not. And I think you've just hit the nail on the head there, Ben. Like the amount of younger players nowadays that we see, especially if your team's relegated and you're as good as he is, like, you're going to have teams come in. Liverpool have been rumoured, Crystal Palace, although I'd rather he didn't go there.
Yeah, same.
Wolves have been rumoured. Again, rather he wouldn't go there. But, the first thing you'd think with footballers nowadays, and especially with some agents, as you've said, some can get bad stick. Not all of them are like this, clearly, as we've just seen. As soon as your team's relegated, you're thinking, right, let's get out of here. But to come out and make that statement, like, if he was to stay in the Championship, I don't like saying stuff like this, but I feel that, like, I feel it's so true, I have to say it. If he was to stay in the Championship, he'd be one of the best players, if not the best player in the Championship next season.
Yeah.
And obviously, we don't know if any players are going to come through and absolutely set the world alight in the Championship, but he's got to be one of the first names on the sheet, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, definitely. He's by far our most talented and gifted player. I'm saying that because I think Deulofeu is going to be offset, and if he's stuck around, then maybe he'll be our most gifted player. But yeah, Sarr is incredible. But what a player, what a professional, and so mature at that age as well to come out and say things like that. You don't get many players like this anymore. Whatever happens, this is just a remarkable young man that is so talented, and he will play at the very top. He just needs to bide his time, and he will get that chance. He could easily go on and play for the likes of Barca.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely agree. And do you know what as well, which I like? Firstly, when we got relegated, he was one of the very few players that were crying.
Yeah.
And that's not to mean that other players weren't feeling hurt, because people show emotions in different ways. But he was having to be consoled by Aurelio Gomez.
Yeah.
And from the team we had last season, we felt quite disjointed, like, between the team and the fans. Like, Troy Deeney wasn't coming out and doing interviews. It was always Will Hughes. So you sort of felt like there was something up, and the players were a bit disjointed with the fans. But for your best player to come out and say that when you've been relegated, whether he means it or not, I think firstly to come out and say that was absolutely superb. That is what us Watford fans wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you read out the statement, because I was scrambling around trying to find it. And I was like, uh-oh.
I thought you threw me under a bus. You went really quiet, and I was like, oh, I'll have to find it. So I kind of slowed down to try and read it out.
Yes, thank God you read it out.
Cheers, mate. But yeah,
no, it's all right.
Like, yes, he came out and said absolutely the right things to say, but whether he's still going to be here at the start of the season, or even when it comes to the middle of October when the transfer window closes, because the transfer window is going to be open for 6 weeks still from the start of the season, and we're going to see a lot of players coming and going during the start of the season, which could possibly unsettle the side. So the side that we put out for first game of the season is not going to be the same side that ends the day of the transfer window. It's going to be totally different. Like, lots of clubs are circling around Sarr. You've named a few, and I think Gino's came out and said there's a 40 million price mark, and Gino's very stubborn. He's going to get that 40 million. Yeah. He might even get a couple of millions added onto that, because he's just a brilliant salesman, isn't he?
He is, and I think as well. I'll ask you first. Do you think Sarr's going to be here for the duration of next season?
I think he'll start the season with us, but he won't finish the season with us.
Interesting.
I'd love him to stay.
Yeah, mate.
Because look at Villa and Jack Grealish. Lots of people weren't thinking he was to stay around at the Championship, but he stayed with them and he got them back up into a Premiership. So I'd love Sarr to do the same. It just all depends on if teams are going to put up the money. Like we've said, Palace have looked at Sarr. You and me and all the other Watford fans will not want him to go to Palace at all. But if Palace end up selling Zaha for a hefty amount of money, they've also got the money then, so they could come in and want to come in. I just hope he ends up going to a club like Liverpool, playing with his mate Mane, being coached by Jurgen Klopp. You can really see him push on at Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I really hope he does stay for the selfish purpose of he will absolutely rip up the Championship and help us in our bid to hopefully come back at the first go. But I do think what you've said about Mr. Pozzo's bang on. If he's named a price, you ain't getting him for cheaper than that.
Yeah.
You are having to pay that, the bare minimum. I think 40 million is good in terms of considering the market won't be the same because of coronavirus.
Yeah.
I would have liked a bit more because we sold Richarlison for 50 million, but we have to remember that there's been a pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Transfer fees won't be the same, I don't think. But in terms of whether Sarr's staying or going, it's in limbo, we don't know. What we do know is there has been 7 departures from the club, Ben.
Oh, no.
I have got the list in front of me, don't worry.
Please remind me.
The bus this time. Yeah, to be honest, I put a tweet out. I don't know if anyone saw it on my personal account yesterday. I said to Ben, I was reading through some of these, and I was like, "Who's that?" And it's hard to keep up sometimes because of the scouting network we've got. We've got all these lads from South America and like Africa, and like it's hard to keep up with the players that we have. Like I saw something the other day saying, hopefully he comes back to Watford, and I was like, didn't even know we had him. So yeah, for those that don't know what we're talking about, I think the main one we'll start at the top is Cucho Hernandez rather.
Yeah.
This one was quite a big one because when Watford put it on the website to start with, they put with a view to a permanent, but they've changed it now. And even I was like, hopefully not.
Yeah, thank God they changed that.
Yeah, Cucho's gone to Getafe, who I believe may have qualified for Europa League. I know they were up there.
I think they've just missed out.
Have they just missed out? I know they were up there for the majority of the season, but I think the main thing is, Ben, he's going to be playing top half. For a top half team, because I think he played. Where was it? Huesca last season? He was at.
He was at Mallorca last season and got relegated with them. I think on the last game of the season, but he started the season with a lot of injuries. Didn't get into the side until maybe January, February, and then he hit the ground running. He scored a few good goals. So the thing is, we've only sent him out on loan to Getafe because there's been issues with his work permit yet again. It's a story of Watford's life, really, with young, talented South Americans, isn't it? We've had this same problem with Penaranda. Took him absolutely ages to get to the club. So same thing's happening with Hernandez. So I've seen that on the Watford website that there is a clause in the contract that we could possibly recall him in January.
The news was circulating that if we were going to see him in a Watford shirt, it would be January time.
Yes, I think that's when the work permit should be sorted by. So there's possibility he could come back in January, but if he doesn't, he's going to get a good old season at La Liga for Getafe. And then if we do bounce back, first attempt to get into Premiership, he's a great player to bring back in. Yeah.
You know, he's had experience in La Liga. Yes, he got relegated. He had 2 seasons on loan at Huesca as well. I knew I hadn't made that up.
Yeah, no.
I was like, why would I make Huesca up? But no. So, a good move, and hopefully one that helps his development. He'll be playing sort of. I can imagine that if Getafe have just missed out in Europa League, they'll give it another good go as well.
Definitely.
To try and get in Europa League. So hopefully he's their main man. And if he's in inspired form and we do bring him back in January, then hopefully that form continues over here.
Definitely.
Another one which we touched on, I think we touched on this in Instagram Live, was Dimitri Folquia has gone to Granada.
What a legend.
He was on loan. I know, yeah. He's the one that stands out in my memory was his brilliant performance against Man City at the Etihad this season.
He's the one player I didn't want to leave this summer.
Yeah, no, mate, I'm absolutely gutted. I to be honest, I didn't want to bring it up because I might get a little bit emotional.
I was fully committed to get him on the back of my shirt yesterday. I'm so glad I didn't. I saw the news. Yeah. I'm gutted.
No, can't believe it. Didn't he get subbed off in the first half against Man City?
Yeah, outrageous decision. Yeah. He didn't deserve that.
Flores doesn't know what he's doing.
No.
And he played in the League Cup as well, I think. But yeah, he's gone to Granada because they had him on loan. They had him in January earlier this year, and they've exercised the option to buy him permanently. But thanks for the memories, Dimitri.
Exactly.
You will be sorely missed, my friend. Right,
best of luck in your career.
This is where it starts again.
He's going to end up like that guy at PSG, ain't he?
Which one?
The one who they signed from Stoke City, and he
Choupo-Moting.
Yeah, he's going to end up playing like him.
Mate, there was a crazy stat about that. I probably shouldn't have mentioned it because I can't remember it. It was something like Stoke have had someone from the last 7 seasons go on to play in the Champions League semi-finals. I'm like, what?
That's mad,
Darren Fletcher was like 4 of them, so like that don't really count. It's not as impressive as it sounds. But this is where it starts to get a little bit tricky for me because I ain't got the foggiest who some of these are. So bear with me, guys. Brazilian midfielder Mateus Santana, who's 22. He's joining Spanish third-tier outfit, Recreativo de Huelva on a permanent contract.
Great side.
Brilliant side. After spending last year at CD Don Benito. Some of these names made up. So Watford website having me on or something.
It's like when you're about to play FIFA, you press a random button and they come.
Yeah, that's all. That's That sounds like a permanent one. So that's not a loan. That's a shame. But yeah, thanks for the memories, Matthias.
Thank
And
you.
enjoy the Spanish third tier, my friend.
Yeah.
Next one is Ghanaian Kwasi Simbo, who's also 22.
What
He
a name.
spent last season on loan at third tier UD Ibiza.
Tell you what, mate, I'd want to be on loan at Ibiza.
I know, yeah. I bet 22 as well. I bet he's bloody loving it, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's signed to continue on loan with the Islanders for the forthcoming campaign. So best of luck to Kwasi in Ibiza. I'm sure you're really enjoying your football over in Ibiza, mate. You ain't fooling no one, mate. That's any 22-year-old's dream. And then, oh no, it gets worse. Ponferradina in the Spanish second flight will take 21-year-old Colombian midfielder Jurgen Elitin on loan. And last year he was on loan at... This has got to be a joke. Last season he was on loan at Marbella. Jeez, where next? I don't know, man. What the hell's going on?
Oh, dear. The destinations are getting better.
Oh, mate, these are brilliant. And then we've got a Colombian midfielder who's 21 as well. I don't know what it is with 21-year-olds at this club. Jamie Alvarado, who's moving to Brazil on a season-long loan. And he's going to Club Atletico Paranaense after a temporary spell in Spain's third tier. I tell you what, we've got an awful lot of players that play in the Spanish third division.
Do you reckon I think that's because it's probably easier to get a work permit by playing in Spain.
Yeah, I do think that. But do they not have to play in the top flight in order to help them get? Because that's with Cucho.
I'm not sure.
Because we could send Cucho to a Spanish third tier side and he'd take the absolute mick out of them. But like, I don't know. I think they might have to play top flight football.
Okay.
I think. I'm not 100% sure. And the last one, and this is the one that you said you sort of recognise the name, Venezuelan Williams Velasquez, who's going to continue on loan at Portland Timbers until December. Didn't know that we had a player out on loan at Portland Timbers, to be honest.
Yeah, he's done quite well there as well. That's all I know, though.
Yeah. Two players that we do know of is Dolberg.
Yes.
Annoyingly, why have we sent him out on loan? I wanted him to challenge Ben Foster for the number 1 jersey this season and maybe see him in the League Cup and FA Cup. But he's gone on loan to Sweden. I've got no problems with him going on loan to Sweden because he does know Sweden. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of the team that he's gone to. But it's just annoying, Ben. I don't know if you're sort of the same thought process of me, but I very much would have liked him. I would have liked to have seen him play this season, whether it be in the cup and maybe even challenge Foster for the number 1 jersey. Although I think he'd have quite a job on his hands.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted him to push Foster for the number 1 spot this season. Sending him out on loan kind of looks like we possibly might be having Backman as a number 2 because obviously Gomez is retired. But we spoke about this on our live Instagram the other week. Yeah. We think Batman's possibly off to Kilmarnock game next season. So if he is, are we going to be bringing in another goalkeeper for number 2? But I don't like that we keep loaning out good quality players like Dalberg. No. He needs the opportunity to play. Like, make him the number 2 this season. Give him the League Cup, FA Cup games to get that experience. It's frustrating, but look, he's gone on loan. He's going to probably play 30 to 40 games for his Swedish side. Before he came, he was actually a Swedish international, wasn't he? And he's kind of declined since he came to Watford. And this is why I think Ivic is a good appointment, because I don't think we're going to see the youth that we sign decline like they have done. Like, we've signed them, they've all got big reputations, massive potentials, and they've all kind of like taken a few steps backwards, similar to Quinner. So I think he's going to get the best out of the youngsters. So it would have been interesting to see if Ivic was in charge at the time we sent Dolberg on loan. Would we have sent him on loan? Would he have wanted him in and around the first team? Would he have even pushed Foster for the starting spot? Would he have even started a few games? It would have been interesting to see, but hopefully he has a great season on loan and comes back and he'll be our number 1 next season, because I think Foster's contract's up at the end of next season and it's getting on a bit now, isn't he, Foster? So possibly might even look to retire next season.
Yeah, possibly. And it does make me think that if we were in the Premier League, would we maybe have loaned him out to the Championship? But just interestingly, whilst you've been speaking, I've just been having a look here. He's gone on loan to BK Häcken, who actually look like they've just restarted because they've only played 15 games in the season. And at the moment, Häcken are fifth. And I believe this is the...
is that the top tier?
I believe it is the top tier because Malmo are top.
Okay, yeah.
And the name, I recognise Malmo. I think they're ever present in the Europa League. But Häcken are fifth. So they're playing, they're next playing on the 17th. They're at home to Varbergs. So that big tasty game at 6 p.m.
It's gone to a good side then.
Yeah, he's gone to a good side. I don't know much about the Swedish division, unfortunately, but if they're going to be pushing for sort of Europe, I think they can qualify for Europe. Europa League qualification if they finish third at the very least. And they're 2 points behind, albeit there's only 15 games. But there's only 16 teams in this division, so 31 games or 30 games altogether. 30 games altogether. So, yeah, it's going to be... They're halfway, basically.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. One loan that does really excite me is Ryan Cassidy going to League One outfit Accrington Stanley.
That is a big move, isn't it?
And he's signed a new contract as well.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Cassidy. And this is going to be a good test for him. League One, physical, nasty. You know, it's not going to be pretty football. That's what I think he'll... If he can score a lot of goals there, then don't hesitate to see him in a Watford shirt next season, I don't think.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great move for him. I'm going to have one eye on League One next season to see how he develops. Hopefully he gets lots of opportunities to play. I don't know whether he's going to be on the bench for the start of the season and then he'll have to force his way into the side, but he's got a massive potential. He did fantastic for our under-23s and maybe under 18s as well. I think he was like the top goal scorer for them. The FA Youth Cup, when we played Liverpool away, he even scored in front of the Kop, and he's a boyhood Liverpool fan, so that was a massive moment for him as well. So yeah, there's a few clubs who are even looking at him. I think there was rumours. We've been keeping an eye on him for about 2-3 years, haven't we? And we've been chatting about him, and whenever a club's like circling around him, we're like, oh, I don't want him to go. We don't want it to be another Sancho moment of losing a player before he's even actually played for Watford. So yeah, great opportunity for him to get valuable experience at Accrington Stanley.
Yeah, and to be honest, Ben, me and you talked about maybe even putting him on the bench a couple of times last season. Yeah. You know, when Mullins was in temporary charge before, even if it was just on the bench, I think that looking back, we were talking, we weren't doing the podcasts back then, but we were talking when we played Leicester away. I think that was Mullins' first game in temporary charge. And the Athletic had said that there was going to be a couple of youth players on the bench. I think in the end it was Humbo and Dolby, but we wanted one of them to be Cassidy. So
definitely, I would have wanted him to be in and around the first team for pre-season, at least this season. Definitely. But he's going to get a full season at Accrington. Yeah, I'm happy. It's a really good move. It's not like he's gone to a conference or a League Two. He's gone to a League One. That's a good standard. That's great for his development.
Absolutely, and another young talent which will be playing this season, or he certainly hopes he will be. He's Ben Wilmot, and he did an interview with the Watford website and some of the stuff. Got some of the quotes here. I won't read out the full interview, but I'll read out the two main quotes which really excite me. So he's obviously spent last season, the majority of last season, because he picked up an injury towards the end, on loan at Swansea, who missed out in the playoffs against Brentford. But Ben Wilmot's actually come out and said, I think I'm a far better player than I was the first time I played for Watford. I want to play in every game this season if I can. So I'm definitely going to be trying to make that position my own. Like, firstly, that is what you want to hear, isn't it?
Yeah, music to my ears, mate. Continue.
Absolutely. Yeah, mate, this next one is, he gets it. This sort of says to me that he gets it. When we play Swansea, that will be a big one for me personally. Then the two Luton games for me, having been at Stevenage and now at Watford, I'm not Luton's biggest fan. So those two games I'm looking forward to. That right there is that's the quote that we needed. And I'm buzzing to see this boy play. And I think he's going to be one of the best defenders in the league next season. There, I said it.
Give him the armband, mate. Give him the armband. And
not over Hughesy, mate. Not over Hughesy.
I know.
We thought about it.
He's a future Watford captain. It's great to have him back at the club. He had a fantastic spell at Swansea last season. He's a threat from set pieces. He scored the winning goal for Swansea against Cardiff last season in the dying moments. He's very comfortable with a ball at his feet, playing out from a back, comfortable in possession. I think it's great to have him back, and you're going to bring a lot of composure to a back four. I don't know if you read it as well, but I can't believe he hasn't played with Vic yet.
No, his only chance would have been...
He came off the bench at Wolves, didn't he, in the Premier League? And then, he's played in the... Did he play in the Woking game? Newcastle FA Cup away game as well? But he's never played at Vic.
Crazy. The closest he would have come as well was... Swansea, when we played them this season in the League Cup, obviously he was cup tied.
Yeah,
I know he was there because I did an interview with him. But Ben, I'm just so looking forward to seeing him play. Like, there's some quotes that you can say, and those two are the ones that you want to hear. He sounds just ready for it.
Yeah, it's refreshing to hear, isn't it?
Yeah, he's the sort of defender that we've been screaming out for. I think. Yeah, he really, really is.
He is. He is a future. No, I'm gonna say it. I don't want to say it, but he's a future England star. I think he's gonna.
I think so.
I think he's got all the pedigree to go on to playing for his country. He's similar to probably like John Stones. He's got that.
Christ, don't compare him to him. He's crappy,
John Stones at the start of a Man City career.
Okay, that's all right. At Barnsley, he got picked up at Barnsley by Everton, didn't he?
So he did, yeah. I think it's going to be a future Watford captain. We need to build the defence around him because we've seen a few links this week that I think Cabaselli said that. Watford players are going back on to pre-season on Monday, and a few Watford players are going to be sitting down with the clubs talking about where they go from here, if they're going to be staying at the club or if they move on. So it'll be interesting to see who goes. I've also seen reports this week that West Ham are looking at Craig Dawson as well as a possible backup centre-back for their defenders. So that's possibly Cabaselli off, maybe Dawson off. Cathcart hasn't really got the legs anymore, so I think we need to... Yeah, Wilmot's going to be starting.
I would have liked the pairing of Wilmot and Dawson.
Yes,
a lot of people are slagging Dawson off, but this is Dawson's level.
Yeah.
Like, he thrived at this level for West Brom. So I'd quite like to see that as a centre-back partnership.
Definitely, and also the aerial threat would have defending and scoring. It's going to be brilliant just to see. I think what excited me when we signed Wilmot from Stevenage, I think there was an interview on the Watford website. He said he weren't afraid. He enjoys getting blocks in and throwing his body on the line, and that's what you want to hear from a defender. He's such a young age as well, but I think he's developed massively since he's been at Swansea. And look, Swansea play the right football. They have a philosophy. They've played it for absolutely years. They play the ball out from the back. They're very comfortable with the ball at their feet, and this is what we need to start doing at Watford. I don't think we've had a philosophy since we was in the Championship and we played that 3-5-2 every season.
Under Zola.
When we went to the Premier League, I think we kind of lost our ways a little bit when Kiko came in, and I don't know what he was doing sometimes. He was playing one striker up front, wasn't he? And then he realised that Dini and Igalo played well together. And then things changed again then. But yeah, it would be nice to maybe get a philosophy back at Watford under Ivic, and hopefully we see the best of Ben Wilmot.
Absolutely. And I think we'll wrap the show up with the news that the Sky Bet Championship fixtures are to be released next Friday, the 21st at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Ben, who's your ideal opening fixture, bearing in mind that the fans won't be there for the first game of the season?
Ideally, probably Middlesbrough away, because if fans aren't going, gets it out of the way. I don't have to make that journey. I'll probably say someone like Middlesbrough, but then again, Middlesbrough, I wouldn't rule out Middlesbrough for being in the top 10 this season. Warnock.
Warnock, you cannot write him off.
Yeah, so I think they're one to watch this season. So am I a bit silly for saying Middlesbrough first game of the season? Should I be saying someone like Rotherham?
No, mate, Rotherham away is class.
Yeah,
we need that where
we
can
did that
go
on
in.
a Tuesday night, didn't we?
We did.
Sonino's game, wasn't it? When Lloyd Dyer scored and he started running over towards Sonino.
It was indeed.
And
Yeah.
Tommy
We didn't deserve to
Hoban's.
win that night.
No, we didn't, but we grinded out a result. I think Toby Hoban got an assist, didn't he? He got to the byline, pulled it back, and Minari stuck it away as well.
Minari, yeah.
That's what we need to do in the Championship as well. It might be a bit gritty sometimes, but you grind out results, and I think with Ivic, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get the 1-2 goals lead, and then look, it might be a bit negative to shot up shot, but look, like I said earlier, he had 29 clean sheets last season. Like, clean sheets win your games.
Yeah,
clean sheets will get us back into the Premiership.
Yeah. So yeah, in terms of who I would want, I don't want Coventry away or Birmingham City away. I don't know what the ruling's going to be with away fans, so I think I'm wishful thinking trying to get to any away games. But I obviously nice local one for me at St Andrews, and obviously Forest away as well would be a nice local one. I would say
good away day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hooters.
And the rowing boats. And if you're listening, go on, girl. Push. that was some away day.
You got a bit messy on an away day at Forest, haven't you?
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Did you neck some straight vodka?
Yeah. Yeah, let's wrap this up pronto. It was a great away day. I would go with do you know what? Rotherham at home. That's no disrespect to Rotherham, but I just think let's start off easy. Sorry, Rotherham fans. Not that you're listening, but yeah, I think Rotherham at home. But
Rotherham or Wickham at home, I'd go.
Oh, Wickham at home. Yeah, let's go with them. I don't think they've made any signings yet. I don't think.
Have you seen their kit?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I'm getting that. I'm getting that.
That is disgusting.
I am, mate. I'm wearing that.
What colours is it? It's like
orange, purple, and like green. I think
it's disgusting, mate.
It's beautiful.
Tell you what, that does look like some of your Hawaiian shirts that you wear on a night out.
Mate, you should see the one I'm wearing tonight, mate. But yeah, let's wrap it up there. It's been good being back, Ben. We spoke about this a couple of times in the break. Like we've been like, come on, we need to announce some news to get back on the podcast. We've done a few lives, which have been great over on Instagram, and we'll continue to do so when is appropriate. But it's good to be back doing podcasts with you, Ben, and I've really enjoyed this episode. The first episode of Season 2, Series 2.
Yeah, likewise, mate. It's been brilliant to be back. I had the buzz. I was excited to get going. I wanted to kind of do it last night. And then had to wait till this morning.
That was my fault.
And then had to wait till this morning. But yeah, very excited to be back, mate. And I'm really looking forward to the season ahead. It's been a positive week for Watford, and the rebuilding's already started. So yeah. Looking forward to it.
Good stuff. Well, you got much planned with the rest of your day?
Going out for a run now.
Same.
Up early enough. It's not 40 degree heat outside, so it's a bit more comfortable for me to run in. So yeah, going to do that today, and then a bit more preparation because the baby's due soon.
Yes.
It's under 4 weeks now, so yeah, a bit more baby preparations. So yeah. That's my day.
That's why I got you up early, mate. That's why I got you up early.
Oh, yeah.
Get you ready for these early mornings.
Appreciate it.
We should have recorded at like 4 a.m. or something. That would have really prepped you.
One of the feeds.
Yeah. Likewise, going for a run now, and then I'm going out later on. So I'm just enjoying this break and not having football. Like, as much as I love football and whatnot, I think we don't have to wait too long. And yeah, I'm just enjoying it at the moment. So yeah, that's me. But thanks very much for listening, guys. It's been a little bit longer than our usual ones, so that we try and keep it as close to under an hour or an hour as possible. And we really hope you've enjoyed it. So, like I said at the top of the show, whether it's you joined us over from season 1 to season 2, we thank you very much for your continued support. Whether it's your first time listening, if it is your first time listening, follow us on Twitter at Voices of the Vic and on Instagram at Voices of the Vic, and then on Facebook our pages, the Voices of the Vic. So make sure you give us a like on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And We'll be back with you next, I would say, when some more signings are possibly announced. We might do an Instagram live or we might do a podcast, depending on it. And if there's any other big news, we'll be back with you then, I think, Ben.
Yeah, sounds good to me, mate.
Sounds good to me. But yeah, thanks very, very much for listening, guys. And we really hope you enjoy it. Let us know on Twitter as well what you thought of the show, and on Instagram as well. Let us know what your thoughts are. Thank you very, very much. And we'll see you next time.